Playoff football has returned in Season 3 of our Cleveland Browns realistic franchise rebuild. And just like last year, here in the Wildcard round, we are on the road to take on this loaded Chiefs roster. Last year, we were able to overcome some turnovers by creating some of our own and come away victorious on our way to the divisional rounds. Can we repeat that success this year? I think our team is improved over what it was last year, especially offensively. I think we've played better this year. We'll have to see if we can stop Patrick Mahomes. Very much so. Easier said than done. Before we get into the game, though, we did have a couple of scenarios here talking about how Ryan Clark was impressed by our defense's ability to create the big plays, sacks, and interceptions. Every defensive player gets 2,500 XP. You got to love that. And then the other storyline from earlier on in the year, I believe this is going to have to do with the running back scenario. We said Ernie McFerrin would get 10 touchdowns. He did not quite get there. I believe he had 8 on the season. Luckily for us, though, that doesn't hurt us in any way prior to the wildcard matchup, which is nice. You certainly don't want to have any negative morale problems or anything heading into a playoff game. This is going to be a really good matchup, and we certainly don't want to have anything going against us. 11-6 versus 12-5. Pretty even overalls as well. Because it's a playoff game, we're going to also make sure we have our team as fully upgraded as possible heading into it. While we're here upgrading some players, it is worth noting there are 2 massive injuries for this game that came out during the week of practice. Myles Garrett is one of them. He will not be playing for us in the wildcard round. And the other is Greg Newsome, who has been an awesome corner and a turnover machine for us. 2 really big losses to what is one of the best defenses in all of football. I think we have enough playmakers to hopefully still put up a really good game. But missing 2 players at that caliber heading into a matchup against the Chiefs is bad timing, to say the least. With that being said, we are ready to hop into the game now, and the Browns offense takes the field first here. Haven't quite yet gone over the season stats for the Browns, waiting until the season is over to do so, but you get a little glimpse of Richardson's stats for the season. We start the game with a give to Anthony Davidson, who does a nice job sifting through tacklers to gain 9 on the play. On 3rd down now, Richardson pulls on the read option and picks up the first. He gains 10 as well. A couple of nice run plays here to begin the outing. Back to the ground. This time it's McFerrin. He falls forward for a gain of 6. Heavy run emphasis. That was our game plan to try and help our inside run for this game. Run game hasn't been something we've excelled at consistently throughout the year, so if we can get a boost to it here in this game, it should help us. You see here Jerome Ford checking into the game. Ernie McFerrin got injured on our opening drive and would not return for the rest of the ball game. So from here on out, it's Davidson and Ford who will be splitting carries in the backfield. Davidson has another nice run there. He's been excellent on this opening drive, which will end in an Adonai Mitchell touchdown. I've really liked what Mitchell has been able to give us so far this year, especially kind of on these downfield targets. Richardson seems to trust him kind of over that deep middle of the football field. And you can't ask for a better opening drive than that, other than maybe McFerrin getting injured. But good plays in the pass game, good plays in the run. and it results in a touchdown. 2nd and 5 here. Mahomes has to go into the flat, and it'll be a loss of 3. Edens in there on the tackle. So it's 3rd and 8. Mahomes on the drag route over the middle has Xavier Worthy. Tons of speed, and he gets the first down and more. Now from the 46. Mahomes, clean pocket, and throws up interception. It's Rasul Douglas on the pick. Filling in on the outside to replace Greg Newsome, and he comes up with an interception on the opening drive of the night. Excellent start to the wild card game. The touchdown on one end, the pick on the other. Offense immediately starts here with good field position. Richardson evading defenders and getting the first down and more. Continues to be somebody that shows good stuff with his legs when he gets uphill at least. Here, keeps it on the read option, and that was not the right decision on 3rd and 2. I think we had it with a handoff to Ford, but instead we're forced to settle for 3 here, but we do extend our lead 10-0. You start from the 27 on the sideline there. A nice pitch and catch to move the chains. Pacheco gets the carry here, but right at the line of scrimmage, Denzel Ward there to meet him. So I'm making a play on the run game for our CB1. And on the blitz, Ben Folds gets to Mahomes. He fumbled the ball. And Folds is on top of it for the fumble recovery. What a play by Ben Folds. Getting to the quarterback, forcing it out, and then picking it up. Back-to-back turnovers created by Cleveland's defense. It's the strength of this football team when they've had a great start. Njoku keeps the drive going there on that sit route. From the 23 now, it's an RPO, and Jerry Jeudy hauls it in and picks up 11 along the way. 2nd and 4 from the 6. Richardson thought about taking off. Instead, finds David Njoku. And just like that, it's 17-0. Feels familiar, doesn't it, with the Chiefs going down 17-0 in a certain playoff game in real life recently? But it's been all Cleveland's in here this first quarter. Now we're showing the kickoff, which means something happened here, and it's going to be a nice return past the 40, giving Patrick Mahomes and the offense excellent field position here for their 3rd drive. Nice spin move by Owe, getting the inside track and bringing Mahomes down for a loss of 5. The 2nd quarter, Rasul looked like he almost had another interception, but he jumped it too early. Maybe the hit on the quarterback actually helped the Chiefs in that scenario, that it slowed the pass down a little bit. And that is a really well-executed screenplay there to Belser. Inside the 30, Mahomes right back to Belser here, this time down the field. And the Chiefs are putting together their best drive of the day. 2nd and 4 from the 6. Mahomes, there's a flag on the play. He hits Pacheco in the end zone for the touchdown. They're cutting to the offensive lineman here, which usually means a hold, and it is the Browns. Don't give up the touchdown here and now have a chance to get the stop on 3rd and 4. Mahomes over the middle, has a man, and the Chiefs get the touchdown anyway. Just took them a couple extra plays to do it this way. But the Chiefs are on the board here in the 2nd quarter. Really nice drive by them. On 2nd and 5, Richardson back to pass and finds Anani Mitchell. And off here to Jerome Ford, trying to find something on the edge, but he's met right at the line of scrimmage there. Nice job setting the edge by the Kansas City defense. And flushed out of the pocket and forced to throw it away. Richardson took about everything he could just to avoid the sack there. And Cleveland forced to punt. Kansas City now with the momentum in this game after the touchdown and the stop. They keep it going. Pacheco with more yards on that rush than he had the entire Super Bowl against the Eagles. Here they find Pacheco again. He's dropped in the backfield. Loss of 1 by Ben Folds. He's having a nice first half. Mahomes has plenty of time, and he throws another interception. Brian Branch. He's going all the way. Pick 6 for our big-time off-season acquisition, Brian Branch. I just jumped the route there, perfectly timed, and that's why you get a superstar safety in free agency for plays just like that one. His biggest play yet as a Cleveland Brown. So the Chiefs once again down 17, trying to find another score here in the half, and nice job setting the edge there by Emerson. Going to be a loss of 2 and bring up a 3rd and long. Under 3.5 remain here in the first half. Mahomes has a man, and what are those angles by J.O.K. and Branch? You can't both get beat by a tight end on that play, man. What was that? And what was that catch? Holy! What a play there by 85. I don't even know that dude's name. But he just made an awesome catch for Kansas City, and it's going to result in a touchdown. I mean, that dude was double covered, and he just went up and got it. Awesome play. Well-deserved touchdown there for the Chiefs. Richardson can't get it to A.D. Mitchell there. He drops it. So now 3rd and 10. Browns looking to just run some clock here and go up 10. Penalty on that play, though, will force the punt. And Kansas City now trying to make it a 1-score ball game. They still have a minute to go and all 3 timeouts. I mean, this was, 24-7 with 3 minutes left in the half? Over the middle, another completion. Kansas City takes their 2nd timeout. Mahomes over the middle again. They will not call their timeout here. So we're down to 20 seconds. Let's see if Kansas City can manage the clock successfully. They still have 1 timeout, which should help them. They get Xavier Worthy here so they can save that timeout. And now they're within field goal range. 2nd and inches. Belser. Another catch on the sidelines. 11 seconds, 1 timeout from the 26. This should be an easy 3 points for the Chiefs. Mahomes over the middle. They'll make the field goal easier, but should bring out the field goal unit now. And they do. So things were looking all Cleveland here. But with that field goal, it's just a 7-point game going into the half, and Kansas City gets the ball first. Let's get into that second half now. Kansas City with a chance to tie. After everything was looking great for Cleveland's, momentum can shift just with the snap of a finger when you have Patrick Mahomes quarterbacking the other team, and he finds Xavier Worthy again. Been a big day for him. Kansas City's been just really taking advantage of these plays that are, 5 to 15 yards. That's where they're living right now. We just haven't done much to stop them. My game plan was to stop the short throws, but as you can see right here, Noah Gray, despite that being my game plan heading into the game, I haven't really done a very good job stopping it. From the 12, Mahomes finds Belser into the end zone for the touchdown. And we are tied from 17-0 to 24 all. It was also 24-7 as well, so 17 unanswered Kansas City points. Cleveland's offense needs to wake back up here, and we started this game with some nice Davidson runs, so we get another one here. Already halfway through the third quarter because that Kansas City drive was so long. Big pickup there to Njoku. He's had a nice game. Pocket was good enough, and then Njoku just outran the man coverage there. Here Richardson has it, and on the Texas route, finds Anthony Davidson. They're going to give him the first. I thought he was short for sure, but I'll take it. Jerome Ford stopped by Chris Jones, loss of 1. And what is that play? What is that play? It needs to be removed from the playbook, and we're going to get a flag on top of it for illegal man downfield, and then another flag here. Got into scoring range and then just kind of screwed ourselves over with just dumb mistakes. Leads to a 3rd and 17. Richardson will take off, but he's not going to get nearly enough. The offense did a good enough job to retake the lead, but man, couple of flags there. Force us to 3 instead of 7. Pacheco on the ground picks up 8 on first down. That'll set up a 3rd and inches. Mahomes has Pacheco on the flat, and it just looks like soft zone coverage here from the Browns for the most part, and you're getting these plays here right in that 5-yard to like 12 yards. Kansas City, Mahomes is getting whatever he wants in that area, and it's kind of this death by 1,000 cuts that after a strong start, the defenses all of a sudden started to allow. And when you think about it, the strong start was due to forcing turnovers. It wasn't like we were actually stopping Kansas City, but now we're not getting the turnovers, and so Kansas City is just slowly killing us. Denzel Ward, great PBU there, but I think, if it was Greg Newsome, who usually plays outside, probably an interception there, and it would have been nice to pick up that INT. Pacheco makes it 1st and goal from the 6. Kansas City goes play action, and they find Xavier Worthy in the end zone for the touchdown. He has been unguardable for the Chiefs in this game. There he's on a safety, which is just always going to be a mismatch. Kansas City takes their first lead here at the start of the 4th quarter, and our defense has all of a sudden just been incapable of doing really anything to resist the Chiefs, let alone stop them. Play action over the middle, Jerry Jeudy. Nice little tight window throw there from Richardson to get us in Kansas City territory. Now on 2nd and 9, going deep for Matt Driver, who has not been involved in this game. As you'll see here on these back-to-back throws, Kansas City was all over Matt Driver in this game. And even when Richardson would target him, he would just have 2 Kansas City defenders on him nearly at all times. Part of the Kansas City game plan was certainly to limit Matt Driver, it seems, and they've done a good job of it. And another big play to this tight end, man. What is this dude's speed? He seems like he's always outrunning everybody. Over the middle, Belser with another good play. He has also performed really well. Kansas City knocking out the door again. And they get the touchdown again. This was 24-7. Our defense had only allowed 7 points with like 3 minutes left in the first half. And all of a sudden, Kansas City has 38 on the board. And we're down by 2 scores. What happened to this game? Richardson has Judy again. Inside the 40. Now 2nd and 7 from the 35. Richardson finds Jerry Judy once more. This time gets it inside the 25. But we're under 5 minutes left in the game. We need to come up with something. Once again, trying Matt Driver down the field, but Kansas City once again draped all over him. 3rd and 5 towards AD Mitchell. He hauled it in on the sideline. Down to the 1. What a back shoulder throw there from Richardson, but Kansas City will challenge. Oh, I don't know about that. It's going to be pretty close. Did he get that foot dragged in? Was it still dragging when he hauled it in? Or is it off the ground? Oh, they're going to call it back. I ultimately think that was probably the right call, but it was close enough that I can at least hope. This field goal still makes it a 1-possession game, though, but with 4:08, it's time for the defense to get a stop, something they have not been able to do in the last 2 quarters of this game. They're not going to get one there. Kansas City already in Cleveland territory without even really trying. 3rd and 5. And now Cleveland is having to use timeouts. That was the stop to get there on that 3rd down. But after using all our timeouts, we get 3rd and 8. Get a stop here. There's still a chance. Mahomes scrambling. And that will be the final straw. You had a 3rd and 8. And you let Mahomes scramble for it. And the Cleveland Browns season comes to an end in the wild card round. I really thought this could have been a dangerous team in the AFC, but the AFC playoff picture is always so tough. I'd love to avoid having to go on the road and face the Chiefs in the wild card round every year if I can help it, because that's a very tough matchup. And now we've split games with them over the last 2 seasons. I thought if we were going to lose this game, it would probably be due to Richardson turning the ball over again. He had 6 interceptions over the last 2 weeks of the regular season, but wasn't on him. He was 19 and 27, 184. I mean, that's not great, but it's certainly not on him. Anthony Davidson actually ran the ball pretty well. No receptions for Matt Driver. It wasn't for lack of trying. I don't think in this game or in other games I feel like it has been for lack of trying. The defense just was not good enough. We had 2 sacks in the first quarter, nothing since. 2 picks in the beginning of the game, nothing since. We could not get a stop to save our lives, and ultimately it cost us the season. So there goes another year down in the books for the Cleveland Browns. And I thought we had a chance to make some noise in the playoffs. That defensive performance, I still don't understand it. Even being removed from that game now, were Myles Garrett and I'm blanking on his name, Greg Newsome. Are those guys the only reason our defense is good at all? Here in Super Bowl week, we're gonna look at the yearly awards here. MVP goes to Patrick Mahomes. I don't think there's any reason to question that. Stephon Diggs winning Offensive Player of the Year. And Daniel Gibson is your Defensive Player of the Year. I did not know he was in the running for that, but an awesome surprise on that front. Jordan Santiago wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. Joaquin wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. In terms of awards here. We got Ramon Farr. Okay, a generated player winning best offensive lineman, so that's going to give him a dev upgrade. Very hard to get that. Best offensive lineman goes to Daniel Gibson, so we should see some nice upgrades for Daniel Gibson. We also win best kicker with a 68 overall, Dustin Hopkins here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats for the season. Donald Richardson, just under 4,200 yards, 28 touchdowns to 16 picks. He had 10 picks for the last 2 games of the season, and then he totally just started throwing them up. It made me worried that he'd be throwing picks in the playoffs and that would cause us to lose, but Donald Richardson was not the reason we lost that playoff game, contrary to his rookie season. He also put in 6 rushing touchdowns. McFerrin put in 8. Davidson had 3, but both of our running backs averaged 3.5 yards per carry or less. I think one of the goals of the offseason has to be improving our run game somehow. It's just not good enough. Jerry Jeudy, 1,200 yards and 6 touchdowns. A.D. Mitchell, 885 yards and 6 touchdowns. And then Driver, just 825, but he did haul in 11 touchdowns. Njoku, 700 yards and 3 touchdowns for us. In terms of sacks allowed, the rookie Beverly led us with 11, and then Linton with 9 on the other side. Neither player got totally obliterated. By far our leading tackler, JOK, no surprise there. And Daniel Gibson, your defensive player of the year, 21 TFLs, 15.5 sacks. And then his running mate on the interior, Mike Hall, 13 TFLs and 14 sacks. So 29.5 sacks from our defensive tackles this year is really insane. 8 sacks from Myles Garrett, 4.5 for Dafeoe, 2 for Miles Murphy, who played for Garrett, so you can kind of that position got us 10. Ben Folds with a sack and a half, and then a half sack for Brian Branch. Interception wise, Greg Newsome led us once more. Didn't get the 8 or 9 that he got last year, but still obviously good there. JOK with 4, Denzel Ward and Kalen Bullock with 3, Brian Branch with 1 alongside Emerson and Matt Milano, who played sparingly. And we had a few players cause 1 forced fumble. Defensively, our defense was really good. Our offense was better at limiting turnovers, I'll say. I still think you got to look at the offense as the way this team improves. I know the defense just played horribly, but I think we still have one of the best units out there when you just look on paper when we're healthy. I could certainly improve a lot of depth on the defense, I think, because obviously we had 2 injuries and then the defense played terribly, and so we need better depth so we can last a couple of injuries should they come. Then offensively, have to find a way to get Matt Driver more involved. He got some targets downfield, but the Chiefs were very, very keyed in on him in the game. He was always seemed like double covered every time he was targeted. Ended up with no receptions. I don't mind Jerry Jeudy having a productive year. We just re-signed him, but we need more production out of Matt Driver. We need more production out of the running game. And then I honestly thought Donald Richardson, saved those last 2 games, was on a pretty good roll. Just needs to avoid the interceptions a little bit better, but he's down 4 from last year. He's on pace to have it cut in half nearly before the end of the season. So gives us a plan for the offseason. I think if there's a chance to make a splash either along the offensive line or even at the running back position, I think we got to make it, because we have a lot of solid players at running back and offensive line, but we don't have a lot of studs there, and I think it's hurting our run game. The New York Giants will be your Super Bowl 62 champions here, defeating the Kansas City Chiefs 20-10. Glenn Davis, the first pick of this rebuild in the draft, was the quarterback in this situation, and he wins his first Super Bowl, the 5th overall for the Giants. Brian Burns is your Super Bowl MVP, which is fun to see. It looks like League-wise, Daniel Gibson did not win Defensive Player of the Year. He just won it for the AFC. Aiden Hutchinson, who always racks up insane amounts of stats in simulation. I don't know what's going on with that Detroit playbook, but still, Daniel Gibson looks like up to superstar, not quite X Factor. I wonder if he got it and then lost it. No, he did not. So I was wondering if he'd maybe get a double increase this year. We've seen it happen in the past, but 3 upgrades for Daniel Gibson, who has really come into his own as a interior player. And it's been fun to see. Let's make sure he gets that 90 overall here. We'll go with some power rusher. He ends up getting +2 to finesse moves. But look at this. With increases, he's into the 90s for block shed, power, and finesse now. Awesome athleticism as well. Our first pick in the series is really now coming into his own. The problem, he does not want to pay income tax. If there's a scenario where we can change a player's motivations, we just might have to do it, because he was a guy that I didn't know the long-term fit after a couple of years, but as a full-time defensive tackle, he has been awesome. He's now the third ranked defensive tackle overall-wise in all of football, which you love to see. We get Richardson here with an upgrade. We're going to go with Improviser. And he gets 1 to his throw accuracy deep. That's now up to an 87 here. We'll see what he can give us in year 3. I certainly saw enough improvements that his job is, I think, easily safe at this point. Jerry Jeudy starting to go down here. He got -8 regression, not a ton of regression, but 86 overall now. Let these backups upgrade themselves for now. And then we'll finish off this episode by going through some dev changes here. So, looks like everything's staying the same on the offensive side. No dev ups or dev downs for the moment. I was worried Driver might lose Superstar, but I think those 11 touchdowns helped him out tremendously. We have X Factor for Newsome, X Factor for Bullock. I don't think Bullock will keep his X Factor. Mike Hall regressed from Superstar down to Star, despite a 14 sack year. That is brutal. But we're not doing any edits. We're gonna let Madden run its course. I think it's due to some overall and age calculation that happens, but we have 2 X Factor corners, an X Factor linebacker, an X Factor pass rusher, and a superstar linebacker, safety, and interior pass rusher. So we still have 1 star dev and 1 superstar defensive tackle. They just switched for the upcoming season. Again, we'll see if Bullock keeps his X Factor. I don't think he will. You can only have 3 guys with X Factors, and so he'd be the guy who wouldn't have his active, even if he does keep it. But that's all I've got here for the episode. We'll be back soon with another offseason, seeing if we can't solve the problem that could potentially put us over the top here with our Browns franchise. We're a very good team now. I think roster-wise, we're one of the best. Oh, Edens also dropped down to normal. He was star. Didn't get a ton of playing time, so I guess that makes sense. But we'll see if we can find ways to become the best team in football, fix our weaknesses. Offseason will be coming out soon, and I'll see you then. Go Browns.